Welcome to All Things Greater Burlington, where you will hear from the movers, shakers, and change makers that are moving Greater Burlington forward. Here is your host, Stephen Brody.
Welcome to All Things Greater Burlington. It's my pleasure to have with us today Jerilyn Horn of Jerilyn Horn Kitchen and Bath Design Company, which is located in beautiful downtown Burlington, Iowa. And Jerilyn is here to talk about herself and the services that she provides to us in the area. Jerilyn, thank you so much for taking time. I know you're busy, and thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get started with, if nobody has heard of Jerilyn Horn Kitchen and Bath Design Company, is it basically what we hear from the title, or is there or is there more to it?
I try to get clever or cutesy with my name, but yes, it's simply in my title. So I have been an interior designer in the Southeast Iowa area for over 10 years. Working at a variety of other kitchen and bath design companies. And I just decided to go out on my own in 2001. Well, actually in 2020 is when I was going to do it, but didn't pull the trigger. The pandemic happened at a good time. I hadn't started my business yet.
Yeah.
So then 2021, it was April 2021, I moved to 413 Jefferson Street downtown. And offer kitchen cabinets, countertops, light fixtures, hardware, tile, you name it, to get the job completed. So
yeah.
I'm more of a kind of a one-stop shop.
Yeah. And so what got you into this? Is this something that you always had a passion for, or did you work for somebody first and then it was like, oh, this is interesting. What got you going in this area?
So I went to college right out of high school for interior design and went to the Illinois Institute of Art over in Schaumburg, Illinois. And just ever since 8th grade career day, I wanted to be an interior designer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The other thing I wanted to be was a fashion designer. But I thought I could have more options on where to live being an interior designer as opposed to a fashion designer. But I've always been into art and creativity.
Yeah. Do you you said ever since like 8th grade. So did you happen to go to some fair or job thing and that kind of piqued your interest?
I think most interior designers of my era would say HGTV.
Okay.
Is what did it.
Sure.
Candace Olson, Genevieve Gorder. I really idoled those designers, and I just loved watching HGTV.
Yeah.
So,
and when you decided to branch out, did you feel that there was an opening for it, that maybe that there was something that wasn't being offered or provided?
I think there was. I wanted to be a place where I didn't just sell cabinets. I wanted to be a place where I offered services as well. So I'm not free. I'll just say that. I charge for my design services. But that allows people to work with custom cabinet builders and say they want the 3D designs and the plans. They can just purchase that from me if they want to. Or if they buy the products from me, then I apply my design fees back towards their product purchases, which makes me more competitive with people around. But I wanted to be that place where I helped people, find a good contractor, find a good, wallpaper person, plumber, I wanted to get the whole team put together for them. And whether I'm providing products, which I usually do, that's great. But if they just wanted plans from me, they could do that as well.
I was going to say, what do you prefer, Jerilyn? Do you prefer the person coming off the street who really hasn't thought it through but knows they want to do something versus somebody who's, okay, I have this in mind, and can you meet that need?
Most people come to me with just Pinterest boards and inspiration.
Yeah.
They have their space. They look at it all day long. They don't know what to do with it or how it could be improved. They tell me, certain things they want and need. But sometimes when you get a designer's set of eyes on the space, they'll bring something to your attention that you didn't see. And most people are very grateful for that. Like, we can put together a really just well thought out beautiful design, function and aesthetically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where do you draw upon this? Do you have, I guess the internet just is so helpful now.
Yep, the internet, HGTV, all of that. The kitchen and bath industry has grown just huge. I mean, compared to 10, 20 years ago, it is huge how much time and investment that they put into those areas in their homes.
Yeah.
Is just such a different industry today than it used to be.
Yeah.
So it's more fun now today. You know, there's just so many options out there.
Yeah. How do you stay current on what's going on in the industry? I would imagine that there's such a thing as trade shows that you can go to. So talk about that.
So I am on the National Kitchen and Bath Association. I am one of the very few certified designers in the whole area.
Wow.
And
what did it take to get that designation?
It was a series of, it was 4 different sections of a test, 200 questions. I had to get, I believe it was 85% of it right. And it had plumbing, HVAC, product knowledge, construction. It had anything you could imagine beyond just interior design, just to be able to communicate with the trades better.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a certified designer. And then
was that an at-home study thing?
Yep. It was an at-home study. Yep.
Okay.
And then I also had to do a drawing where they presented me with a fake client with all their wants and needs and a floor plan, and I had to try to create the best plan for this customer.
Wow.
So it was and during that time, it was during COVID time, I had a lot of time to study, and I needed that time to study. So
yeah.
So, but back to trade shows.
Yeah.
Out in Las Vegas, they do the National Kitchen and Bath Industry Show, where all your major suppliers like Kohler, Viking, Wolf, Sub-Zero, all those major brands are out there, and they're showing their latest product reveals for the year.
Yeah.
And that was end of January, early February. So, by the way, this is Kohler's 150th anniversary year, and they're bringing avocado toilets back. That's what we've been told.
That was a big thing at one point?
That was a big thing. Yeah, that was a big thing. Avocado.
Wow, avocado toilets. So if you're in demand for an avocado toilet, now's the time.
Now's the time. It's in style.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, thank you for that exclusive.
You're welcome. Now you all know.
And if you want to get an avocado toilet, they can contact you.
Sure thing. Yep. I can hook you up with Kohler's avocado toilet.
Did not expect that.
I know, right? I'm full of surprises.
So when you're at the shows and you're meeting with those companies, what do you do to, I guess, set up arrangements with them so then you now are
a dealer?
A dealer, thank you.
So most of them out there, I am already a dealer for.
Okay.
And every once in a while there'll be a new guy at the show, and they have reps there, and then they scan your badge that you have, and then they end up contacting you just to make sure they could ship to the Midwest, what the freight charges would be, how much volume you have to do every month with them in order to be a dealer with them.
Okay.
So.
Do you think that there's a difference in volume based on where you are in the country? Maybe being on the board, you might know that on the Midwest, maybe there isn't as much of a volume amount as might be required on the West or the East Coast.
I'd say it's about the same volume, I would say.
Okay.
For example, there were some cabinet companies there that were really modern European style, the slab doors with the really modern, edgy looking wood grain. Those are pretty popular on the coastal areas and not so much in the Midwest, even though Chicago, you do see that often. But I wouldn't probably sign up with a vendor like that who only exclusively sells that type of cabinetry. Now, I do have a cabinet line that offers that style as well.
Okay.
So it's available.
Is it compatible with an avocado toilet?
It is. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. So you may have already answered this, Jerilyn. Forgive me. So walk me through the process. So when somebody walks in and meets with you, and says, "Oh, thank you so much for being available, and this is the vision and the idea that I have." Tell me again then, how does it get from concept to reality?
Okay, so you walk in or call. Say most of the way people contact me, I'd say is through calling or through emailing.
Okay.
But you are more than welcome to walk in. I always tell everybody that. And what we do is we set up a job site measure. I come out, take a look at the space, take pictures, take measurements, check if there's anything that needs to be addressed. And then we have a showroom meeting where we pick out products. And then once those two meetings are over, then I will put together a 3D design using Google SketchUp, which is actually the same program that Joanna Gaines uses. So if you've seen that on HGTV, her doing her 3D, that's the same program I use. It'll show the actual material of the countertop, the cabinets, everything that you picked out in that 3D. And you can create new layouts with it. And it just really gives the client a good visual, especially because I have a huge flat screen TV that I'm showing it up on. Once we get the design, how the customer likes, then I price out products, and then we get contractors connected with them. And then at that point, if we meet their budget, get the design how they want it, we order things, and then we're off.
Yeah. How has things affected you with regards to supply chain? We've heard a lot about that, where there's been issues. Were you impacted, or have you been impacted much by that?
I'd say last year was pretty rough, but I got to tell you, all of my customers, obviously they follow the news and they knew what was going on in the world. When I said, the cabinets now, one of my cabinet lines is 5 to 6 weeks. They were at 20 weeks at one point.
Oh, wow.
And when we tell the customer that up front, and they say, well, it is what it is, they were all pretty... I'd say most customers were planning way ahead as well. They didn't stop in and say, hey, I need my kitchen done next month. A lot of them were coming to me a year in advance and saying, hey, we aren't going to start this for 10, 12 months, which is a smart thing to do, during last year and the year before with the supply chain.
Yeah. So I would imagine with your business, there's no such thing as a typical day.
No. And I think that's why I just love this job. It's every single design is unique. Every customer is unique. It's so fun, really. So,
have you had anyone ever come in with an idea and you just went, I don't know if I can do that?
I have sometimes, it's, you want to listen to the customer and what they want to be done. You want to listen. If it's ever like a safety concern or, something that I think might be dangerous or just kind of a pain for them in the end, I like to kind of explain why we shouldn't do that or why we should move this over here instead of there.
Yeah.
And usually most cases are going, oh, I didn't think about that. It's just things bringing it to their attention.
Yeah.
Up front.
Is your client base predominantly this area? Is it pretty much Southeast Iowa?
It's Southeast Iowa, yep. And I would say Burlington is central hub. So I'm usually I'd say my average farthest job would be about 45 minutes away. And I'm heading that far north and I'm heading that far into Illinois and south and then even over to the Mount Pleasant area in Fairfield.
How do you think you're doing in terms of the customers that are coming to see you? Are you doing much outreach to get those customers, or are they finding you?
That's the other thing that we are so fortunate to have today as small business owners is social media. And I have my business listed on Google with quite a few, good star reviews, which boosts me up to the top when people search for kitchen designers in their areas. Also Facebook too. I have been reaching people over an hour away, heading my way. And unfortunately, I hear a lot of people saying that there isn't anybody in their area that does what I do. And they will travel an hour to see me and I will go see them too. So.
Yeah. Now, you could have been anywhere and set up shop anywhere in the Burlington area. There's certainly spaces.
Yeah.
What attracted you to wanting to be downtown?
I've always loved the old vintage downtown Chicago look, especially since that's where I went to college, and the old brick, the old streets. I just loved that vibe. I'm not so much, commercial district. I just didn't want the brand new building. I love my old brick building, and then also the nostalgic and the quaint feel when we're doing downtown events and there's people walking up and down the sidewalks. It's just such a good feeling just to be where I'm at.
Yeah, and I want to dovetail into this next part, Jerilyn, by just letting the listeners know you don't spend all of your time simply just doing business. Mm-hmm. You have offered yourself to the community and being involved as a volunteer mm-hmm. in doing things. Let's talk about that. Because again, there's a lot that goes into your business, mm-hmm. and yet you have decided to get involved in other things as well. Why?
I love people. Some people might think I'm crazy for saying that, but I really love people. Like, that's how I thrive, just talking to people, getting to know them. And that's why I'm on the Downtown Partners Board of Directors, which is so exciting to be kind of the first to know all the happenings that are, downtown Burlington, it's happening, all the being involved in that. And then just on other committees as well. Like, I love planning things. I love having input, giving my advice or my 2 cents if they'll take it. But yeah.
No, well, I can tell you that we did, because you served on the planning committee for the annual dinner for the partnership, and mm-hmm. definitely appreciated that. Hopefully you'll do it again.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on it.
But it was a good group of individuals. Mm-hmm. So being on the Downtown Partners Board, you kind of alluded to it. So has that opened your eyes to like learning more about the downtown that maybe you didn't know about before?
Yeah, I would say so. Plus, I was born and raised in Mount Pleasant, just only 30 minutes away, but still, I just didn't know a lot of people down in this area, and just being on that board, I've just met so many people through that way. And then doing volunteer work, you just meet so many more people, and then they get to know you and they get to know your business, and you start to feel more like you're a part of the community.
Yeah. And you, obviously, as you said, you grew up in the area. Mm-hmm. You're still here. Mm-hmm. Did you leave for a while and come back, or have you always been here other than going mm-hmm. to school?
So in my 20s, I went to school over in Schaumburg, Illinois. Yep. My first job, actually, when I graduated, which was 2008, that was a terrible time to graduate college with the recession.
Okay.
So, but I happened to know a family friend who was one of the upper, corporate leaders of a high-end Home Depot company called Expo. They're no longer. The recession shut them down, but. Okay. I went to work in Atlanta, Georgia for the Expo Design Center down there. Okay. And that was really neat just to get a different perspective on, houses and styles and all that down there. Once they ended up closing, that's when I ended up moving back here. And my dad was doing cabinets on the side. He's also a farmer.
Okay.
But I was struggling, being a young designer, just out of college, didn't have a lot of work under my belt. Came back to Mount Pleasant, and I started designing kitchens with my dad. He had space in the old, I don't know if most people probably don't know it, but it's an old UBC building by the middle school. He had all the cabinet equipment, and I would go do the designing and he would do the cabinet making.
There was some tinkering going on
there,
huh?
Right? Yeah. And actually, that had me just another a role other than just designing. I was also staining cabinets and painting cabinets in the shop and getting my hands dirty, which was kind of neat to do that.
Yeah. One thing that I learned about you this past year, which I had no idea, is that you are very talented with charcoal
drawing.
Charcoal drawing.
Watercolor.
If people haven't seen it, they are in for a treat, because I've seen some examples of your work, and they're mind-blowing just how amazing they are. What got you interested in that?
So that is a passion and a thing that I have done since I can't even remember, since I was born. I just started drawing when I was younger, and then my grandma Garles was a very beautiful oil painter. And in fact, she taught art classes at the Art Center, the old art guild.
Yeah.
And showed her work at Snake Alley, and that was her full-time job besides helping my grandpa on the farm. Was she was an artist, and so I learned a lot of things from grandma.
Yeah.
And I, after college, I kind of quit drawing for a while when I was in college. And then I just picked it back up again. And it kind of has become this big side business of mine, actually. I stay pretty busy with it. So
how do you view that? Do you view that as, and I don't want this to sound the wrong way, is this a passion? Is this a distraction from the other business?
I tell you, there's some days where, it's like I already have so many orders in the works. I'm actually booked out till August already.
Really?
Yes. And just people contact me constantly wanting to either do charcoal or watercolor.
Yeah.
And that is my nighttime and weekend job. So, I'm not... I'm doing my normal, kitchen and bath gig Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of my spare time or free time. But every once in a while when I'm like, I just need to take a year off. I need to not do any more drawing. I don't have any free time. And people ask me how do I have free time? I don't really. But then when I get into it, I guess starting a project's the hardest thing, right? And so when I get into it and I first start drawing or painting, it's almost therapeutic and relaxing for me. And I feel like it grounds me and brings me back to myself. And there's no way I could ever give it up. So
yeah. Are the charcoal drawings mostly from pictures?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Usually it's from photographs. And one of my biggest requests is people wanting me to combine photos of the deceased with photos of the living and make it look like, dad is in with the picture of the children and when he never was.
Yeah.
So combining multiple photos is a big request.
I'm trying to visualize then. So how's that set up? Do you have like an easel and then you have like the photo right next to you on the side?
Yep.
And you're just going.
I have an art table.
Yeah.
And I have the photo printed out next to me. I do go onto the computer first and I combine the two photos and I scale them and then I show it to the customer before I start drawing.
Yeah.
Just to make sure I'm not drawing the added person too short or his head's too small or too big. Like I want them to see it before I put it on the paper. Once they approve it, then I start drawing off of that.
What are you doing more of? Are you doing charcoal drawings more or watercolors?
I'd say I do more of the charcoal drawing, and people and dogs are probably the biggest subject requests.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yep.
And are you showing any of your work? Are you in the art fairs here?
I am. I do have work at the Art Center in Burlington.
Okay.
So there is prints and originals there for sale. Also, I am doing Snake Alley this year. I didn't do it last year because I felt so busy. And this year I am going to do Snake Alley Art Fair.
Yeah. And that's typically in June, is that right?
Father's Day. Father's Day in June.
Okay.
So, and my husband works all day long at it with me. Bless his heart.
to help sell.
Yep, to help sell and help set it all up.
Okay.
It's a lot to haul all that stuff down here.
So then again, do you have a separate website for
I do.
that too?
I love web design too. So I love designing my own website. So I have my JH Kitchen Bath. That's my Jerilyn Horn Kitchen and Bath. And then I have artwork by JerilynHorn.com.
Okay.
So I have both the separate websites. Some people who order artwork from me don't even know I do kitchen and bath design, and then vice versa.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So if somebody Google searches and just says Jerilyn Horn,
yep,
will both show up?
I've done that to myself before.
Haven't we all?
Haven't we all?
We all want to see what happens.
I know, right? I hope it's all good. But
yeah.
Both show up. The artwork and the kitchen and bath will show up online.
Do you have any of your work in your store?
I don't have any other work in the store. And when I first opened up, I had a couple people ask if I would do that, put some of my artwork in my store. And I thought I kind of wanted to keep the two businesses separate.
Yeah.
And that's why the art center has a lot of my artwork down there.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of people will come into my kitchen and bath shop and say, hey, the art center recommended your name to do a custom portrait, and then they'll send them to my shop. So it's nice that I'm right there on the same street as them.
No, absolutely. And I can kind of understand why you might want to keep them separate.
Right.
You don't want to have a conflict of interest.
Yeah, or just make it confusing for people. I want to keep it pretty simple.
Oh, and while you're here, would you like one of my watercolors too?
Right. And then I make this and this. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I get that.
Yep.
I get that.
Yeah.
Have you focused your artwork just locally as well, or have you branched out and gone any further?
I've mainly just been local, and then occasionally I'll do the Louisa County Art Fest.
Yeah.
So I do like to stay in contact with some of the local artists that are around too. It's fun to run into them every once in a while at those places.
Do you have time to do anything else?
Well, besides my children and all their activities, and I just not a whole lot else. So having a house cleaning lady's been helpful.
Always.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
What's coming on the horizon for you, Jerilyn? Is there anything that you're hoping to introduce, or a new line, or something that you've been hoping and planning for that is coming?
Like 5-year plan or so, 5-year, 10-year plan. My hope is to someday get into a bigger building that has the, floor to ceiling windows, high ceilings, about double or triple the width of my current storefront, and about double or triple my light fixtures that are hanging in the window, and offer way more lighting options to people. And then just the bar stools that I have in my front window, I want to have way more of that sitting up front. I do want to just show more product is what my plans are. So
is that because you're hearing about that more from your customers?
Yeah, they want to see, basically there's not a whole lot of lighting stores around that show those unique designer lighting options. And I have about 20 fixtures up there, but really I would love to have, about 60 or 70 fixtures up there, because people do say that they wish that there was more, or a bigger lighting store.
Yeah. Obviously, people could go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They could go to big box stores.
Mm-hmm.
But you're an option. Why? Here's your elevator pitch.
Right.
Why go to see you when they could go and get similar product and service at a big box store?
I've always said that people don't just go buy from a place. People buy from people. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I seem to have a good following, clientele following, repeat business, referrals, which is some of the best business you could have. And I think just having that client following, people want to buy from me, and they feel like they can trust me, and I communicate very well with them. And that's what I just try to always keep up. So,
well, you've done a wonderful job communicating today. Mm-hmm. And again, for people who want to get a hold of you, tell us again where you're located. You're downtown. You're on Jefferson. What'd you say, 413?
413 Jefferson Street. I'm right across the alley from Weird Harold's. Almost everybody knows where Weird Harold's is at. I don't know who doesn't know where they're at, but I'm right next to Weird Harold's.
Okay.
I just put up some beautiful pink flowers on the front of my building. I don't know if you saw those yet, so that might catch your eye.
Yep.
And then you can either call me at 319-209-2125, or you can also go to my website. That's JH, as in Jerilyn Horn, kitchenbath.com. And you can find my gallery work there, projects I've done, a little bit more about my process, and then other ways of contacting me through there.
And again, your hours of operation
Yep. We're Monday through Friday. It's 10 to 5, but we are available by appointment on Saturdays and after hours. We are going to start being open till 6, though, on Thursdays during farmers market.
Very good. Well, Jerilyn, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for sharing with us all things that you are involved with. Wish you continued success, and I hope it's sooner rather than later where you have that necessity to get into the bigger place.
Right.
That you just start busting at the seams. It's like, I've got to get in a bigger place.
Yep.
So wonderful. Well, we thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and contact us at the Greater Burlington Partnership for any ideas about future guests to have on our podcast. Have a great day. We'll see you next time on All Things Greater Burlington.
Have been listening to All Things Greater Burlington with Stephen Brody. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to catch all new episodes. To learn more about All Things Greater Burlington, visit greaterburlington.com/ATGB.